Good morning, dear children. Have a nice day. Today, let's see about the lesson in geography, atmosphere. Just see how the earth rotates. Earth is an unique planet where life existed, and air is an important phenomenon. Without the air, the human beings cannot be able to survive. Not only the human beings, the living things cannot able to survive. Okay, what is atmosphere? It's a blanket of air that surrounds the earth. What do you mean by blanket, children? As like the blanket, you cover yourself due to chillness, isn't it? So, atmosphere is like a blanket for the earth. It holds close to the earth due to the gravitational force. The composition of atmosphere. We have 78% of nitrogen and 21% of oxygen and 1% with other gases. That's why I told you, without the air, will not be able to survive. Let's see the gases of 1%. Nitrogen and oxygen are permanent gases of the atmosphere. So it cannot be changed. So of about 99% of these gases are always same. The other 1% of gases are argon, carbon dioxide, neon, helium, ozone, hydrogen, krypton, xenon and methane. All these, the combination of gases, consist of 1% over the blanket of atmosphere on the earth. Now we'll move on to the structure of ozone layer. The structure contains the 5 atmospheric layers. Yes, we'll see in detail. Before that, we'll move on to some other information about the atmosphere. The solid particles in atmosphere. There were dust particles, salt particles, the pollen grains, smoke, soot and volcanic ashes. You know all the meaning of these things, isn't it? We'll move on to what is soot. Yes, the other word for soot is smut, grim, smoke, carbon black, dust, lamp-black, dirt, ash, grit and sediment. So all these give the explanation about dark black smoke, isn't it? That is what is soot. Here it is. It has been released due to the industrial waste, industrial pollution. Oxygen is very important for the living being. Even a patient can survive with the oxygen. If the oxygen has been taken or removed, he will not be able to survive. Carbon dioxide absorbs heat and keeps atmosphere warm. So, carbon dioxide is very much needed. It has been released through the industrial pollution. Yes. The next, nitrogen acts as a diluent, and ozone helps in promoting or protecting the earth from harmful ultraviolet radiation. This you are familiar with, isn't it? The ozone layer. The solid particles acts as nuclei on which water vapor condenses to form precipitation. So this precipitation gets and forms as a rain. Structure of atmosphere. It is thick near the Earth's surface and thins out until it eventually merges with space. So near to the Earth's surface it is thick. It covers, it protects the Earth. We'll see about the atmospheric layers. Here it is. Already you are very well familiar with core, mantle and crust where the lithosphere forms, isn't it? And then with the hydrosphere, biosphere is with the atmosphere. After atmosphere it goes on with troposphere. That is what with the atmospheric layers. Troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere, and the final stage is exosphere. You can see the layers over here with the different colors have been divided. Yes, exosphere is the uppermost layer, that is after thermosphere. Okay children, you can see the ozone layer over here, and it has been covered or protect the earth without harming by the radiations. We'll see what is troposphere. It's a lower layer of atmosphere, and in Greek word it is called as tropos, means turn or change. So it has been extended from 8 km at the poles and up to 18 km at the equator. Almost all the weather phenomenon take place in this layer. That's why it's called as weather making layer. Next is mesosphere. Mesosphere is where many small metros are burns out. Well, we'll see what do you mean by temperature zones. As you go higher in Earth's atmosphere, sometimes the temperatures goes up and sometimes they go down. It increases or decreases, but most probably it decreases. Thermosphere. It's important that exists of about 600 kilometers from the Earth. It has homosphere and heterosphere, where the gases are lower or higher. The radio waves are transmitted from Earth and are reflected towards the Earth. It is in this thermosphere. This is how the radio waves are being transmitted. You can see the radio waves transmitter. From the Earth it moves on to the ionosphere and again touches the Earth. So it gets reflected. Exosphere. Okay, exosphere. It's of about 500 kilometers from the Earth. So it is called as the uppermost layer of the atmospheric layer, where the layer is extremely rarefied with gases and gradually it merges with the outer space. These were the rarefied gases which moves throughout day and night. This is also called as the aurora australis or aurora borealis. We'll see about that. These were the rarefied gases throughout the world in the exosphere, outermost layer of the atmospheric layer. It's due to the northern light the gases have been seen in these different forms. Yes. What do you think about the climate, weather? Yes, of course. We'll move on to the weather and climate. Here you can see what's that is happening. Partly cloudy with snow, rain, chance of rain, and sometimes it is blank, unknown, and chance of sleet. And heavy snow, rain, snow, as well as rain, as well as the snow, rain, snow, and chance of snow. All these have been occurred due to the temperature, changes in the temperature due to weather and climate. Okay, what is weather and what is climate? Weather is caused by movement or transfer of heat energy which influences temperature, humidity, precipitation, cloud cover, wind speed and wind directions. Climate describes the total of all weather occurring over a period of years in a given place. Weather is actually denoted for a day, but the climate is denoted for period of years. This is what is the difference between the weather and the climate. The radiation is how the earth receives solar energy. Conduction is energy transferred by collision in heat carrying molecules. And the third one, convection, is energy transferred from hotter to colder region of the earth. So this is what is weather and climate. So as we have seen earlier, the layers of the atmosphere, that is the first layer is troposphere, isn't it? So this is the sphere where the weather happens or occurs. We'll see about the reason why it has been occurs. The troposphere is the layer of the atmosphere near the earth. The troposphere goes to the distance from 0 to 16 kilometer. All weather happens in troposphere because more than half of the air in the total atmosphere is in this layer. The temperature drops as the altitude increases. So harmful zone is also found here, which creates smog. Smog is the combination of smoke and fog. This is why the weather changes over here in atmosphere. Just look into this column. Okay. What do this says about weather and climate? When it is partly sunny, windy and rainy, chill, stormy, what does it happens? Weather is the study of atmospheric condition for short duration over a small area. But whereas the climate is the study of average weather condition observed over a long period of time for a larger area. The weather changes very often, hour to hour and day to day. See, for an example, if you look out, okay, in the morning, it will be very hot. Maybe due to the wind direction, the blow of wind, it gets changes and you feel chill air towards you. So the weather changes from morning till afternoon. It's like that. Maybe it may be very hot in the afternoon also. It may also occur. But whereas the climate is more or less permanent and remains the same always. What's that climate means? We'll talk about rainy season, isn't it? Summer season. and winter season. It's like that. So this is what is being set for the climate. It has been taken a change due to monsoon winds also. That is northeast monsoon and southwest monsoon winds. Well, a place can experience different types of weather condition in a day. As I have told you, a day with hot morning can have a rainy noon. Whereas in climate, a place can experience almost the same type of climate. If we talk about winter, it will be winter for certain period. It's like that. Okay. Weather data is collected every day in the observation. Climate is average of the weather data. So, they come to a conclusion about how the area have the weather for certain period. That is of say about 30 years of period. So, after that they predict the climate of that place. This is what is climate is average of weather data. Study of weather is called as meteorology and study of climate is called as climatology. Now let's see about the factors that influence weather and climate. That is distance from the sea, altitude, nearness to the sea, nature of prevailing winds, mountain barrier, cloud cover, ocean currents and natural vegetation. The very first one is distance from the equator. The sun rays falls vertically on the equator. So the rays are inclined on the region away from the equator and near the poles due to the spherical shape of Earth. So equator is very hottest spot. Okay, the vertical rays heat up the earth more than the inclined rays. So vertical in the sense up high above the head. If it is inclined, it is less of heat. Thus, the place near the equator are warmer than the place near the away from the equator. So equator you can see in the globe which all the area that covers or comes closer to the equator. It is very hot in the zone. But whereas the places away from the equator is cool. The next is the altitude. The altitude refers to the height above mean of sea level. The temperature decreases at the rate of 6.5 degrees Celsius per kilometer of height. This is also called as normal lapse rate. So, places at the higher altitude have a lower temperature. Nearness to the sea. The climate of place varies according to the nearness to the sea. From the, you know very well in the early classes, you might have learnt about sea breeze and the land breeze. When the air, the wind blows from sea, it is cool. But when the wind blows from land, it will be hot. That is what is, we talk about nearness to the sea. So the place near to the sea receives chill air, but when the place far away from the sea will receive only hot air. In other turn, we can say like this: the climate of the place varies according to the nearness to the sea. The places near to the coast experience equable climate due to the influence of wind from the sea. But whereas the places located inland far away from the sea does not experience moderate influence of sea. So those places experience continental type of climate. This is what is two type of climate which is near to the sea. Now let's see the indicators of warming world. You know very well the global warming, isn't it? Just look into the figure. The glaciers, due to the warming, it gets melted and comes down towards the mountain and springs. It forms as a spring. The glacier, the spring coming to the earliest to the sea and form the flow of water. Same way, the temperature also increases. The tree line shifting poleward and upward. Humidity, temperature over the ocean also. It makes the glacier flow into ice. And also as river, it increases the sea level where the animals and the reptiles or the birds just move out of that place and have a place transformation. They change their habitat also. Okay, today we'll end with this and move on to the homework session. Dear girls, mark the homework, the answers in the book. It has been with the slides. Mark it properly. Today I have given 2 short answer and 1 detail. Mark carefully. Over here you have 2 and 1. And in the next page you have the second short answer and the continuation of detailed answer. Mark it, learn. Girls, it's a reminder for you, need not send it or post it from morning itself. Learn properly and send it between 5 to 6. If you are going to send from the morning, I am not going to take it as an account of attendance. Okay children, we'll end. Thank you. See you again in the next session.